Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something clicked.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay.
Great.
Anything come up during the meditation?
Yeah. A part came up, and it's one that I've been kind of maybe dancing around. I'm aware of it. But I don't think we've engaged that much. So what I basically call it is the one who's holding the reins.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I just talk about it a little, that'll lead us somewhere.
Okay.
Sure. So I have this part, which, of course, before I recognized I had parts, I had this sensation that there was always a pulling back on the reins of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm engaged in life. I have lots of great things to do, and life is pretty good. But there's always this feel that it's being kept small and slow and less than it's intended or possible to be. And literally, I always have this vision of riding in a cart with horses, and the horses really want to get a good gallop on, and I am just yanking back on the reins.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm pretty sure this is a distinct part that gives me this feeling.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was what was coming up in the kind of scam in the moment.
Okay.
So it came up straight away and it didn't leave.
Okay. I'm reminded of our last conversation. In that one, you were talking about a part that you were calling resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, you were describing it was digging a moat to kind of keep distance from people. So I'm wondering if that feels similar or different from this part.
No, it's definitely distinct. Thank you for that. That's very helpful, because I had forgotten about that moat. And that was very helpful, because no, it's definitely distinct from that. It seems to have this role, or I think fundamentally what it's saying to me as I'm trying to get it to open up, it's saying that contains me. It tries to keep me down, keep me small, not just me, but my world, my experiences. That it's a protective mechanism of some kind, that it has a fear that if it doesn't do this pulling back on the reins, that my life will get really big, and it's afraid of that, I think, is what it's trying to express. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. How do you feel towards the part?
I am very, very curious about it.
Okay.
It's been with me so long. So I really want to get to know it.
Okay. It definitely makes sense to me. What it's saying about protecting you by keeping you small.
Okay.
What else does it want you to know?
It's saying that it had really good reasons, circumstances to work so hard to keep me kind of in place. Sorry, my cat apparently wants to get in on this. Yeah, so it's saying that it was definitely working very hard and continues to protect me. It has a fear that life, that everything would get too big and be unmanageable and scary. And I don't know, maybe it's in conversation with Sally, who likes to keep everything in check and through her. I wonder if there's some interaction there, maybe.
Yeah. It had said it had really good reasons about life getting too big and unmanageable. Do you want to ask it just if it can show you about some of those reasons, like historically, when it's felt that pressure and needed to do what it does?
So it's starting like a little newsreel of images. And it's starting from very, very early on, kind of like first memories age.
Okay.
And it's saying if you get too big, people won't love you.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. If you get too big, you won't have a place in the family. You'll be not meeting expectations, and you'll be too different. It'll take you too far away. And that strikes me funny that it's saying that, because I can see in that very early part of the life reel that I don't know, I just can't see a small child having that recognition, having a part with that recognition, but I guess that's possible.
When you say you can't see a small child, does that mean you're not seeing one, or does it mean the idea of that would be hard for you to imagine?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine that coming online within the first year or two.
Yeah?
Yeah, understanding if I act this way, I'm responded to this way, and if my emotions are too big, then sometimes that can scare them off, or that can get some other negative reactions.
So it's moving the kind of life reel, newsreel to kind of later in childhood.
Yeah.
Kind of when you're the more formative, kind of becoming a child that has more independence.
Mm-hmm.
And there it's saying it morphs from this familial acceptance into the friend escape. And there are a couple things that happened in kind of when you're a small child and you start making friendships, like like actually you can go to a kid's house and play, that kind of thing, that were stigmatizing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's showing me those.
How does it feel for you in this part, just to be looking over some of these together?
It feels okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've not this part, and I haven't reviewed these, but I have, reviewed these in the past, these kind of instances, but not in relation to this part, this very specific reining myself in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel uncomfortable with the situations because I've met them before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it feels okay.
You could try showing the part appreciation.
No, my dog wants to join.
Appreciation for working so hard and having those concerns.
Yeah, it's giving me this kind of indication that it can't really believe that it's finally being seen. That it knew I knew it was there, but I didn't know it was it. It didn't have its own identity. Do you know what I'm trying to express?
Absolutely. I think that's most of what we're doing here. We've been coexisting with these feelings forever, and now we're putting a name to a face and understanding them more clearly.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what the part's saying, that for so long it was a feeling. You were so aware of the feeling, you were so aware of it, but you weren't aware of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's its reaction to my expressing appreciation or shedding some kind of awareness on it.
Yeah. Nice. What would it rather be doing, this part, with its energy, if it didn't have to work so hard in that way?
Encouraging me to do all the possible things or dreams or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it would like to be doing the exact opposite of what it's been doing all these years.
And how old does it think that you are?
It thinks that I'm about 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But what it's saying to me is it also knows that I am older than that, because there are situations on this kind of news life reel that it's playing that are much older. So that it knows chronologically there were situations where this was at play, but it still sees me as a young child. Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay.
That's why it is working so hard to protect, I imagine. You can check that out with it, but if it sees you as a 5 or 10-year-old, then it must need to do a lot of protecting.
Because, I wondered if it was like a separate part that was protecting chronologically, but it's saying no. I see you as that very vulnerable, young child.
Yeah.
And you've always been that for me, even when you weren't, even when you were in adult situations. Like,
right.
And that's a bit of revelation to me.
Yeah. I wonder if it feels like there is still a 5 or 10-year-old vulnerable young child in there who it is seeing, and that's who's got its attention, and it kind of had mistaken that part for the you that you are today.
What it says to me, which is interesting to me, is that it felt throughout our years together as if I was a child playing dress up.
Mm-hmm.
Which seems a strange thing to say to me, but I guess it does kind of make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, what's significant about playing dress up to this part?
That it's saying that it recognized that I was in adult circumstances and situations.
Mm-hmm.
But at the core, it believed I was a 5 to 10-year-old or whatever age, young child.
Yeah.
Somehow, and maybe it's another part, an analytical part, which is a very active part of me that wants to pick it apart chronologically, that it wants to apply this logic to it, that says to it, look, if you think she's 5, then how can you run a newsreel from times when she was 40?
Yeah. It actually makes a lot of sense to me.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, again, and my kind of analogy, which might not fit perfectly there, is that maybe it's seeing that 5-year-old that is in you. And it kind of appreciates both the vulnerable young part, which I would call an exile, and you at your current age.
I mean, I've worked with the exile. It's definitely an exile. It's the little one. And I've worked with that exile before. It's all a lot of things come from that exile, I guess. And does that make sense? Exiles can have multiple relationships with different parts?
Yes.
Okay. So it's definitely related. And I have these kind of 3 exiles that I've been working with. And they're kind of chronological times where I seem to have gotten stuck.
Yes.
Does that make sense for exiles to be
Absolutely.
Okay.
You want to tell me the 3?
Yeah. So there's the little one. And then there's the middle one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one I fondly call Mama Bear.
Okay.
And they're all almost like, they're like fossilized bits of me, is how I would put it.
Yep.
And they contain different experiences, obviously, because they're at different chronological points in life. So we experience different things as we go through life. But they're interrelated also. So there's the patterning. There's like the karmic patterning, like that got probably triggered, I would say, in the young one, and then is repeated in different forms and ways.
Yes.
From different life circumstances that again caused me to get fossilized.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but.
It makes so much sense to me that I'm just nodding
okay.
yes, of course. Yes, absolutely. This is all spot on for how I would see my own system and pretty much everyone else's, and it matches, the theory and what I read in the IFS books as well.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like it's jumbled up as I'm speaking it. You don't, when you're trying to kind of unleash it, it can feel jumbled.
Yeah. Okay.
So the reins, this part is that I'm currently engaging with here. It's saying to me that it has, and that's that's the kind of reason why it sees me as this vulnerable 5-year-old, but it also sees me as the middle one and mama bear, because there were many circumstances in those times where it felt I was unsafe and I needed to be reined in to be kept as well.
Right. Yeah, good thing it was around.
Yeah. It's just right now I am kind of in awe of this part.
Mm-hmm.
I have this kind of, wow, you weren't just a feeling. You were this whole being.
Yeah.
So I'm a wee bit just sitting in that little awe type energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like it's like clarity. You know, that moment when you have some clarity on something and it just feels so, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You had mentioned, like, I think you said, I've worked with that exile. Maybe you could check that out with this part, this holding the reins part. Like, does it agree? Does it see that you've worked with that exile? Does it have any thoughts or input about that?
It says it's aware, and that so if we go with the young exile, it says that it's aware. It used to live under the bed. That was its, and it says it's telling me that it's aware that it's not under the bed anymore.
Mm-hmm. And how does it feel about that? How's the holding the reins part feel about that?
It's a change, but there's still vulnerability. Like, still have to be on alert.
Okay.
And so I am now sharing with it that it's not only not under the bed, it's not missing. It's still there, but it's where it asked to be. The little one is now in a place that it has to go to and has been very comfortable there. And it's surprised by that. It's kind of like
you had mentioned that these parts felt fossilized.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if is there still some fossilization on the little one? Is there more to be done there with unburdening that part?
Yeah, I think there is.
Mm-hmm.
Judging by how the pulling on the reins is reacting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption. You could also ask it, does it have anyone else that it wants to point to and say, well, what about this other part or this? Is there anywhere else that the pulling on the reins part thinks that you should look or direct your energy towards?
Well, it immediately said, it acknowledged that it's aware that I've worked with these 3 exiles. And it says they may be in a new place, but they're not resolved.
Okay.
There are more layers there, and that it doesn't feel comfortable letting go of the reins.
Does this part need anything else from you? Anything other than going and continuing to work with and help out those exiles?
No, it's thanking me for recognizing it as a as a being, as its own being. It feels really, really happy about that.
That's nice.
It gets plumb pleased.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to it that I'm very grateful that it wants to be supportive of me and change its role, like that has that desire, that I'm very grateful. And it says it's really willing and ready to do that, but it still feels that the exiles may be in a new place feeling good, but not fully explored, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So would it feel right to go do some of that work? Would you like to do that now?
Sure. It says it's happy to have me go do that because it looks forward to releasing the struggle with the reins.
Great. And which of those exiles do you feel needs your attention the most?
It's a struggle between the middle one and the mama bear one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the middle one, it's saying to me that it's very grateful to be in this new place. And it feels much better where it is. But it's saying there was significant risk or times that weren't safe, that it still feels vulnerable towards.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, we're going to have to ignore the dog.
It's all right. So maybe you could just ask it to tell you more about those times. They don't have to be shared with me.
Yeah.
Just let it know you really want to understand everything about it, but especially those times when it didn't feel safe.
It's reminding me that there were times where sleep was an issue for fear.
You just ask it to show you more of that, what that was like for it.
Yeah, so it's filling me with how it felt.
You okay with that?
Yeah, fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying that from the start, across all of these exiles, there's been a really big struggle with expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And that for the middle one, that's where it really all started to blossom. The struggle with expectations, external expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. You just ask it to show you more about that. Let it know you really want to understand.
Yeah, it's saying I didn't have a voice. I had a voice, but I didn't have a genuine voice. Showing me times of overwhelm. Yeah. Lots of imaging going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's good just to witness.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm bearing witness.
Mm-hmm. That's what they need. Acknowledgement. And to know that somebody knows and somebody cares about what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it's basically asking me to receive it. It's literally giving it to me like a gift.
Yes. Yes, unburdening. And there are some ways I can suggest that you offer to do that.
Please do.
And we'll just go with whatever feels right. So one is to go back into that part's time and go back into some of those scenes and be with it in the way that it needed someone.
Okay.
So you could offer that. Just see if that feels right. Just kind of redoing some of that.
Okay. It's saying that's possible. It's wondering what else is possible.
Great. Well, the giving it to you as a gift, that's another kind of step. And so that involves, or at least how I'm guiding people often involves, asking the part where in its body it's carrying those burdens, and really going through that ritual of releasing them and being thorough about, it had this belief and this struggle, and I've already listed some of them, so we could go through them again. Where are they located in the body? How does it want to give them up? And taking your time to express them from the body of this one until it feels like it's all out.
Okay. So what it's saying to me right now is that it would like to do a bit of it likes the gifting one, obviously, because we've already been there. But it says it also wants me to journey a wee bit before we do the gifting and unburdening.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of journey is it thinking?
It wants to take me to a few
Great
points in time that were particularly difficult, and it wants me to kind of react in a way that would have been better.
Yeah, in a way that you naturally react from self.
So I guess we're going to journey to a couple places.
Go for it.
Asking me to almost behave differently in a situation. Does that make sense?
Well, so she was in those situations, right?
Yeah. And she wants to have acted differently herself.
Okay. Support her in doing that. Be there with her.
Okay.
So that she feels safe.
So let her do that.
Let her do what feels right for her, but make sure that it's not about her doing this alone.
Yeah.
It's with your full support.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're a little bit blended. Because I feel like when she says, I want to do this differently, she wants me to do it differently. Maybe she just wants me to do it with her, is what's happening.
Yeah, just take your time to get clear on that. There's a lot of different ways it can be done. So, some parts they want to close their eyes and let self go back and send a message to someone or whatever. Other parts do want more of that, autonomy of their own redoing. So just take your time to get clear with her on that, about what's needed in each scene, and do what feels right. And you can experiment. So
Okay. She's saying right now she herself wants me to journey with her and to support her.
Yep.
And wants to be able to turn the tables a bit from what happened with the support and courage and love of Sel.
Great.
So I think we'll try that at the moment. She just wants clarity. She wants self to bring the clarity to her and to the situation that wasn't there.
Yep. And to be with her, so she doesn't feel alone doing it.
Yeah. She's saying that I had a part that I'd been working with that was this discovery of loneliness. And she said that was part of it too. You discovered that. This is part of it too. You didn't see this part of it. Yeah, she's really liking this. She's basically rewriting the script and feels very emboldened and supported. Exactly how she didn't feel.
Right.
And she's asking me to kind of speak up and to make sure that, it doesn't go in the direction it went last time. And I promised her that I'll make sure. She's asked me to speak back to the people involved.
Yeah, show her you doing that in her time.
Oh, she loves that.
Yep.
She says, if only someone had actually done that.
Right.
She said it feels amazing to have the power to speak back.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you can speak for her.
So she's shifting into another situation.
Great.
Same group of people, different situation. And she's asking for the same kind of support. She just loves it. She's just eating it right up.
Yep.
She feels so powerful as opposed to so victimized.
Yeah. She is so powerful with you there. She would have had that power if she had that kind of presence of someone.
Yeah. Moving on to yet another scene.
Great.
Okay. She said it's a fine smattering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's totally up to the two of you how much of that to do, and you can do more later. Sometimes it does feel like, having visited a couple scenes, the part kind of gets the picture and develops that trust, and they maybe don't want to go back and redo 100 things. So that's just up to you two.
Yeah. She's saying that was very powerful. She doesn't need to go through every scene. She's open and willing and likes the idea that we can come back and do more if that needs to be done. She really thinks that's a cool idea, but she doesn't think we need to do 1,000 of them now.
Great.
She said she'd like to try to do the gifting.
Okay. Is there a place and time that she wants to do that gifting? Meaning, are you exiting, inviting her to come out of that time in those scenes and kind of rejoin you in the present in a place that's nice for her?
Yeah. We're going back to where, from the last time we were together, that she's very comfortable.
Okay.
She says, I've asked her this before, is there something you'd like to do, once some of this burdening is gone? And she says, all I want to do is relax, to have peace.
Okay.
She said that's still true. So she wants to stay where she is because she likes it.
Okay.
She's happy there.
Okay. Yeah, so now she can give up with you any of those burdens, any of those beliefs. Again, I listed a few if you'd like me to call them back just for thoroughness.
That would be great if you could do that.
Yeah, and then you're just going to ask her, where she's carrying those in her body and how she'd like to give them up.
Okay.
So there was the sleeping being an issue, the fear that she had in sleeping.
Yep. Okay. She's shown me where it is in her body.
And she can give it up any way she wants. A lot of parts choose one of the elements: earth, wind, fire, water, any way that feels right for her.
She wants to breathe it out into the air.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
She's satisfied now with that.
Okay. Another is the struggle with expectations.
That's a big one for her.
Yeah.
She said she wants to burn that one. She really wants to burn it.
All right. Can help her with that.
Building a nice fire. Enjoying doing it together. She said she has some hesitation that's so big that maybe we can't get it all in the fire this time.
Okay.
And I'm encouraging her, saying I'm willing and would be happy to help her.
Yeah, take your time.
She said it's deep. It runs. She's tearing now. She's got this kind of upward and out motion towards the fire. just crackling away.
Mm-hmm.
So she's starting to put that whole burden with expectations slowly there, bit by bit. And it's sparking up. She still feels burdened by it.
Okay. So you can run through, and run is the wrong word. You can go through any of these processes as much as you want with a part, and it's not uncommon for them to only feel like they're safe to give up some, or that there's more to do later. So
she's actually thanking you for saying that. She appreciates that. It takes some pressure off.
Yeah.
She's still
and this is just the ways that I am familiar with. You two might come up with your own ways. So it's really just about continuing to be with her from yourself, connected with her, and learning more about the depth of that burden, what it means to her, how you can go back and redo it, and how you can unburden it.
Yeah. She feels relieved by that.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of work in progress.
Yeah. Sometimes it's other parts. Sometimes a part is unable to give up a burden because they're pointing to a younger part whom they're kind of protecting. So it's all something you can explore with her.
Yeah. She's saying that resonated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's saying that the burden of expectations goes across all three.
Yeah, that's kind of what we heard at first as well. That wow, this seems like a really young part to be experiencing that. So it might be where to go next in your work here.
She's continuing to unburden, but it's slowing, and she's saying that maybe we're getting towards the place where it's enough for now.
Okay. If you want, I could just name the next two things that I heard. Okay. One was that she felt like she didn't have a genuine voice.
Yeah.
And the other, I didn't quite follow. There was something around loneliness.
Oh, yeah. That, and that's a bit what you were just referring to, that I had spent some time working with the young one, and discovered that the young one had been a lonely child. And that was a bit of a revelation. And the point now is that the middle one experienced loneliness as well.
Yes.
So there's this deep, deep connection between these three exiles. And maybe there's more exiles, I don't know. But okay, so we'll go, what it was the genuine voice. I think we'll go there. She
okay. Yeah.
And she's showing me her hands on her neck and her mouth moving and nothing coming out. And that's very frustrating.
Yeah. Okay. See if she can give that up.
She said she wants to breathe that out as deeply as she. She wants me to breathe with her. it's coming up about why she had no voice, like the circumstances, and it's overlapping with the young one again.
Yep, those would be really good trailheads to go back and revisit with the younger one.
And she's saying that these patterns, these circumstances and situations and patterns were first laid down with the little one. And that this inability to have a voice, an authentic voice, that she's saying she wants to breathe it out into the air, but that's not the whole bit of it, because it's connected.
Right.
So she can't really fully.
Makes total sense.
Does it? Okay. She's saying
absolutely.
She fully unburdened.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Good.
You can let her know that you can go work with the little one with those.
She was very thankful for your validation of that.
Yeah.
She wanted me to thank you.
She's doing great. Yeah, and then there's that loneliness.
Yeah.
Which she experienced, and she doesn't have to anymore if she stays with you. She doesn't have to be alone.
She's saying it was such a common experience to be lonely in a room full of people. She didn't know what to do with it. And now because we've worked with the young one, she understands it now. She sees it. She felt it, but she didn't know what it was.
Is there anything there, again, in her body that she can give up around that?
Yeah, she's saying it's all in her eyes. And strangely, well, it's not strange, I guess. She's saying she wants to see it out.
Okay.
As if she wants to just pour it out her eyes.
Okay.
Recognition.
Oh, yeah.
It's like being blind and now seeing, that kind of expression. She's acknowledging the other protector parts and it's like the moat one that we talked about, that kind of keeping things at a distance, that they were all there.
Yep.
And everybody was doing their job.
That's right.
And this thing called loneliness was there, but no one saw it. I mean, yeah, it was just a consequence. Unrecognized. Just see it, really see it, like pushing it out of her eyes at the moment. She's very, very, very relieved for the ability to see it, that I see it, that I validate it. She just wants everyone to see it. That's what she's doing at the moment.
Yeah, and it can be really valuable to check back in with those protectors and show them this update, this update with your connection with this part and what you two have seen together.
She's saying that she would like me to be a bit the town crier.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Updating the one that's holding the reins, updating the moat digger. Just letting them know that you've got her now. And you can witness those things that they wanted to push away or handle however they did.
She feels softer now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Less fossilized.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thanking her for the gifts of her knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just thanking you.
The only other thing I'd recommend is, finding a way to continue checking in with her, negotiating that with her.
Yeah, I think your point resonated with her and also with me that it's important to go back and be the town crier and to do the updating and to kind of work through the complexity of the relationships that were involved with this.
Right. She's got that relationship with her protectors. She's got the relationship with the little one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's glad that you see that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's asking me to please not get lazy, to
Mm-hmm.
not forget.
Right.
She's telling me it's very important.
Yep.
But she doesn't want to unburden and gift for naught.
Right. Yep. You're the one that can traverse that web of relationships and check on everyone, keep everyone up to date.
She's very concerned I'm going to get lazy.
Okay, well, that's something you might negotiate with her. What does she need from you to see that? Is there a daily ritual? Is there putting her on the calendar or some other work of yours on the calendar to handle that?
She wants me to make a commitment. She says there's another part, which I acknowledge, that tends to get bored and drift off.
Mm-hmm.
And she's right about that. She's pointing that part out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because I've never really addressed that also as an entity in and of itself. So this is the first time we're having that conversation.
Nice.
And I can see it's real and right. Like,
Yep.
I get it. I get why she's saying it. So I think I've asked her how we can negotiate this because I acknowledge that there is this other part that does pull me in that direction.
Yep. So that's a part you can work with.
Yeah. And that's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
She said she's glad I acknowledged it. Perhaps it's something to explore. And that she doesn't want me to make a commitment that I won't follow through on, that's more harmful to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I've told her that I will do my best
to
check in regularly and to explore some of this. And she's saying to me, don't overcommit. Remember that part. And I'm trying to be open.
Yeah. If there's any way I can help, let me know. If there are any other, again, systems, negotiations, anything that...
She said she's curious if you could maybe offer some wisdom here with
Well,
this uncomfortableness she's experiencing?
I'd like to better understand that uncomfortableness. Her concern about you kind of forgetting or being bored, not following through. Yeah. Okay. It sounds like it's a valid concern. And so, and I think it's really normal. And it's something that all of us, I think, are dealing with is, okay, well, I can do IFS, but how often can I do IFS? How much IFS do I need to do, and when and where and why? So, I can share my tips and tricks, which are all straight from the, How to Build Habits books of here's how I check on my parts. And to summarize all of that, if I was going to just say it quickly, it would be to do regular, so let's say once a day, check-ins that only need to be 10 seconds long to make it laughably easy, to commit to. And to pair it with something that you're already doing. So I brush my teeth and then I sit in this chair for less than a minute and acknowledge my parts. Just some kind of ritual that is recurring. Keep your notepad there. And I guess that'd be my only other tip, or one of my other tips is, to externalize them, to have a notebook, to have flashcards, something, so that when she says, okay, you need to check on the get bored part and you need to check on the little one, that you can say, okay, here's my flashcard for those two parts, and they're at the top of my list for when I next sit back down in this chair. That's what works for me. I see a lot of other people kind of settling into that kind of routine of just daily remembering and revisiting.
As you were speaking, she said, you journal every morning. All you have to do is mention us there. Be with us in the journaling, even if it's first sentence or two.
Yep.
And she's right.
Yep.
Like, that would be a minor adjustment.
Yep.
So she herself had a good idea, which she feeding off of what you were saying. So
yeah, okay.
That fits. That
Great.
makes sense.
Great. Yeah. It doesn't feel like overcommitting to say, okay, well, sure, I can put this post-it note on my journal, and yes, I can briefly check in as part of my journaling process.
Yeah, it feels, it has the feel of not being forced, of being an easy and natural way to integrate. She's very clever that way. And, thank you for the inspiration, because as you were speaking, she immediately knew what would work for and me. So yeah, that was good.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions for me? Any parts have any concerns?
No, it feels kind of nice in there at the moment.
That's great.
A big, that was very, so kind of back out of the internal space and back into the physical world. And that was super helpful to have your kind of reflections on the exiles, and that they're of course intertwined with each other, and that it's a process of working with each of them. Like, it's not you go in there, you fix it, you turn the screw and it's tight. It's quite just among
it's a family system.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny I need to be reminded of that.
Yeah.
But I did. And they needed to hear that. So that was probably the biggest take home.
Awesome. I'm honored to be able to do it. Thank you.
Oh, really? That was
good
for all of us.
Yeah. Love to do it again. So get you back on the calendar if you're not already.
You sent me 2 tokens and I've signed for both. So
great. Okay.
Really looking forward to the next one. I really feel like these are highly productive.
Me too.
Your voice is very, very conducive for me for some reason to getting relatively easily, comfortably, and deeply into internal space. So thank you.
Great. I'm so glad.
For being you, having your voice and doing
it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So
talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.